Give me a few more minutes. All right. Check out the mustache. It's pretty good, huh? That's about all that's good, right? Oh, let me tell you. I am behind schedule for all of today. So it is what it is. What I'm going to work on in today's live session is I'm going to continue my painting, my 10 point series of paintings here, where what's that? That's interesting. So I'm going to continue this type of design on the next layer for these next 3. I was kind of I kind of enjoyed doing that, so I'm going to continue that design template for the next 3 here. And I think by the time I do those 3, it'll be time for me to kind of call it a day. And then after that, I will be using another layer of paint here. My second layer of paint that I'll be using is going to be this lighter gray. So it's going to be slightly lighter than this gray. Just minuscule in lightness. Look at that. What is that? What's that? Anyways, I saw that. Like, I got like little neck hairs or something. Yuck. Ew. That's what happens when you get old. I guess that's what's supposed to happen. That's a joke. This is online. Anyways, I have no shame. Maybe. I have a little bit. So, today we're going to get cracking on this center one using my Valspar semi-gloss finish paint that smells really bad. But before I do that, I just want everyone to take notice in the information section of this live stream. I am having an art giveaway. Yay! I'm having an art giveaway. And for those that are interested, you can click on that link or copy and paste it and then enter into the art giveaway. I'll be drawing a winner next Wednesday. For those, whoever wins is going to win a 16 by 20 inch art print. Oh my goodness, it's so great, right? Let me get my coffee and then we're going to get cracking. So now that I have my coffee in my super cool Spider-Man coffee cup, of course it's noon, but I don't care, right? I am going to start working because that's how we roll in this. So I am noticing, I don't know, it's been a slow morning. I've been kind of dragging today. Hence why I haven't started this live stream already, because this smells, ugh, it stinks. I don't like the smell of that paint. For some odd reason, it really gets to me. But I've been lagging today. I was up till like 2 in the morning because I was messing around with my website, and I just couldn't sleep. I had all this stuff in my head. I was like, I was really antsy. So because I was antsy, I didn't want to go to bed. So with these last three paintings on the second layer, I'm going to play around with these. Whoa! I didn't expect that to happen. I'm going to play around with these angular shapes that I was working with earlier. And what I'm going to do is, to save time, I think I'm going to just extend them across the path here. So it's kind of like a triptych, but it's not. That way, I'll have work done on all panels here. I just kind of thought that to be a next step in the process of this series. So I am just casually putting the paint on here. Brushstroke left, brushstroke right, brushstroke left, brushstroke right, brushstroke left, brushstroke right, and repeat. Brushstroke left, brushstroke right. And I'm just going to fill this up with pink. And then once I do that, I will move on to another area. Again, I'm enjoying this these crystal shapes. I think it's going to be a good opposition on the curvilinear forms in the layers that happen later on. So that's why I'm doing these shapes here. It's all really new. I don't have a lot to say today. Just been working a lot, getting a lot of painting done. I don't really have much to say about these paintings particularly. I've been thinking about doing paintings with stripes a lot lately, but I'm going to shelf that for now. Maybe I might do some experimentation on this series where I start including stripes, and then eventually what will happen is the paint series will evolve to be more stripe dominant, and I think that might be a good thing to do. I've been really thinking about this whole process, actually. This whole process of doing this, slowly altering the course of the paintings as I move forward, so that they change and evolve through time. And I can see after the 100th iteration of this, if I do 200 or 500 of these, I can see that they would not look like their cousin or like their great-great-great-grandfather of the painting, And already there's some sense of that. So that's very interesting to see. And I'm quite excited to see what happens, how they evolve in the course of time. So they'll still have the essence of the painting, or the voice of the painting, but they won't be the same painting. And so that's what I'm really intrigued about doing with regard to this series, is how it can change very quickly. The series can change very quickly, and I'm really excited to see how that pans out. And since it's acrylic, there's this immediacy. It can dry. Since it dries so quickly, you're able to work on multiple panels at once. Not as many panels as I thought you could, but I think 3 at a time is pretty good. I imagine if I had a whole wall here, I could assembly line it even more. I think that's one of the things I want to do, is have a wall installed here. And that would be interesting to see what happens. where I just have a bunch of panels that are connected, but that are all separate, but like I connect them like this one right here. And I think that would be interesting to see is have like 30 panels that are lined up, and I just start doing the first layer like this, and I'll probably get 4 or 5 in, and then maybe have to call it a day, or maybe I do a whole line of 30 in one sitting, and then I'll probably, by the time I get back, I can do, or by the time I even finish that first layer, I can actually start the second layer. That'd be pretty neat to have that kind of assembly line action. So these shapes I'm making, I'm just starting off with something I'm really comfortable with, which is a kind of like 45-degree angle. As you can see, there's a 45-degree angle here and right here. And then I'm doing some obtuse askew angle on one side and this continuing there. So like there is a little bit of repetition in this where I'm doing a motion that I'm really not necessarily good at, but definitely more comfortable at doing than certain angles. And I can say that that's not spontaneous, but I'm just doing that so I don't have to be like, okay, is this the right angle I need to go here, or should I be doing a different angle? Who knows, right? And so that's my thought process with painting these angles, or at least at this moment. I'm sure it probably could change through time as I'm working on it more and more. But at this point, since this is only the second time I've done weird shapes on my painting surface like this, and with regards to this series, I can see it altering dramatically or drastically through time. So now I think what I want to do is I want to connect these areas a little bit more. And that way I can have some activation on this side when I begin this other panel. So I think this is actually a good way to do these paintings, is to do them in like a manner where there's 3 at a time. I think that's how I can speed up the process a little bit. And that's I actually like that idea. I'm going to continue doing this. Yeah, I'm going to continue this mentality. I don't have anything to say today. I'm kind of speechless. My foot hurts though. It hurts today. It's not my foot, it's my ankle. I don't like it. It's causing some distress. I can feel it swelling. That's not good. Probably doesn't help that I paint standing up. Like 90% of the time when I'm painting or drawing, I'm standing up. So I don't know if that has to do with it, but it could be a contributing factor. It could be a contributing factor. Alrighty, I need to do a little bit of activation here, a little bit of activation on this side. I think this side's pretty good. Actually, I want to do one thing on this side right here. I want to bring something down right here. Just a little angle here. Yeah, so that's good. But this area feels like it needs something. So I'm going to bring something down here, do a little angle here, and then do another angle here. There we go. Look at that. And then we're going to do a little bitty. This just occurred to me. Instead of having an angle, why don't I do a curve? I don't know why. I'm going to put that there, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if I like it, but I thought it'd be something to kind of do differently. Try that out and see what happens. And then I'll fill this up, and then I'm going to put another layer, because it's still going to be, the paint's still going to be a little tacky. I'm going to put another layer on this main panel here. And then I'm going to do my faux little drips. My fabricated drip to make it look like I did it on accident. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So there's that. There is that. This and that. This and that with Rusty. This and that. This and that. This and that with Rusty. Hey guys, I'm Rusty, and I'm your host. I'm Rusty. And today we're going to talk about, we have today's guest, Madonna. Madonna, would you like a Zima? Is that what that is? The Rusty episode where he always hands out Zimas? Would you like a Zima? Yep. It has been a day. I got some stuff I gotta do. I gotta write it down. I really do gotta write it down. I keep saying that, but like, even though with this extra free time that I have, I don't have the amount of free time that I would have liked to have had. Because now everything is, I've been doing more and more painting, more and more marketing, more and more just overall art related stuff. And there's things occurring right now that are taking up all my extra time. So I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about doing some demos for my classes, actually recording them live. So that might be fun. So I think about doing some I gotta do some perspective demos, and I gotta write them. I'm gonna write down my prompts, and I think what I'll do is I'll record them live, save them, and put them on YouTube for my class. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That way I'm not just that way it's raw, it's unedited. I don't like editing my videos. I probably should. They're awful. They're awful. They're not the greatest. I'm not going to spend all that, like, for every minute, like, hour that if you record an hour-long video, I'm assuming you got to spend 3 hours editing it and, like, doing post-production. I barely have the hour to paint and make that video, let alone add an extra 3 hours just to do some editing that makes it look a little bit better. You know, where I take out some sentences here and there, where I remove some filibusters or some non sequitur jargon. I just can't do it. You know, I'd love to do it. I think it'd be I recognize the utility in having that production quality, but I don't have that extra time. Like it's either make a nice video or make 5 paintings. I'm gonna make 5 paintings. It's like, what do you want? Do you want a nice video that might help you, or do you want to make 5 paintings that, you know, right? Look, whatever. You get it. You get it, right? So you want to make 5 paintings. So now what I'm doing now Now what I'm doing now is I'm going to put my second layer of pink here using my like scaffolding type of brush stroke. You know, I think what I'll do is instead of it being scaffolding, I'll make it like patchy, like patches of more thick paint. So it looks kind of like a quilt. Let's see what happens when I do that. This just kind of occurred to me. I was like, why don't I just try something like this? See what happens. You know? Do like this little patchy effect. At least do it on this one, you know? So it looks kind of like a quilt, I guess. Or quilt-ish. Let me say, quilty. And then we'll see what happens. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of looks patchy. So now I am going to double down on this drip right here. And I'm going to add my patchy pattern right here. I don't like doing the quilt, but I'm just going to pursue it for a while and see if that's something that might be worth doing in the future. I'm going to do it here, the little patchwork type thing. Do the little patchwork on this side. You know. Patchwork, patchwork, patchwork right here. Patchwork right here. And patchwork. And I'm going to fabricate some drips on this one. Oh, almost dropped my brush. Almost dropped my brush. That would have been bad. But we saved it, so we're good. Now we're going to do a little patchwork right here. A little bit of like a quilt. It's like a quilt of brush strokes, I guess. Where you have thicker paint and thinner paint. I'm just seeing what happens. I've never done this type of thing, so I'm just like playing around. You know, I think one of my flaws, my greatest strengths and one of my greatest weaknesses is my ability to always try something new in my paintings, or especially with these paintings particularly, and even more so in my sketchbook work. It's really nice because it means I know how to do lots of different things. But it's bad because when some people look at my work, they're like, so what does this guy do? What does he do? He's doing skulls, he's doing abstract paintings, he's doing watercolors. What is this guy's deal? He's everywhere. It's like, no, man, I'm like everywhere. I'm doing like 3 things. I'm doing watercolors, abstracts, and food hamburger paintings. That's like 3 things. And if you include drawings, that's 4 things. I'm not doing like a lot of different things. Okay, 5 things if I include my digital art. But like, I'm not doing a lot of different things per se. But the thing about that is that because I do all those things, I can do a lot of different styles that most people typically have trouble doing. So I'm pretty good at kind of like simulating or emulating other people's techniques, or at least I think I am. Maybe I'm deceiving myself. I know that I have the ability to do a variety of different types of stuff because I've done it, and I can do it pretty well. So I guess I might be bragging, but I am pretty good at doing a variety of stuff. So like, I'm not just like, this guy just does abstract pieces, or this guy just does skulls. No, this guy can paint realistically, and he can do cartoons, you know? I just don't do one thing because I guess I'm so bored. not necessarily bored, but doesn't keep me intrigued enough to like keep doing it over and over again. At least not over and over again for years. I can do something over and over again for like months. Oh, there we go. But yours is going to be something else. Okay. I'm going to fill up. 1 sec. I got to tie my shoe. Oh! I did deadlifts. Wednesday. Whoa! I hope I didn't get in coffee anywhere. I did deadlifts Wednesday, so I got like a severe case of DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. You know? I came prepared this time. I actually have a little bitty flask to hold my coffee so I don't have to walk upstairs anymore. Although I did like walking upstairs, I thought it was a pretty neat little thing to do. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. So we're going to move this painting to the left here. Then we're going to move this painting to the center here. All the while, this painting's still going to do its little dripping effect. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that these are this area and this area is part of this centerpiece and drag it over. That's what we're going to do. I think that will be a good idea. But first, we got to clean this brush. That way it doesn't because acrylic dries pretty quickly and I don't want it to kind of cake on the brush later on, so that's why I'm doing it now. By the way, for those that are interested, while I'm cleaning this brush, I'm having an art giveaway, and if you want to win a high gloss 16 by 20 inch metal print of one of my art pieces, click on the link in this that little details section of this live stream. So that it ends next week, so there is a deadline. So if you want to enter the show, the art giveaway, click on the link in the little box area and submit your email address, and that way I know that you have entered into the show. So that ends next Wednesday. Again, that's if you want to win a free metal art print. Okay, I think this is clean now. I said it already, but the best rags you can use for your paintbrushes is used underwear. Or not used underwear, it's old underwear. So, here we go. Second painting of the day. That's hot. Second painting. So as I said, I'm going to continue this shape over here. And I'm thinking about of making it yeah, let's do that. Like an angular Pac-Man head. Yeah, let's do that. Again, this is the first layer, so I'm not too worried that if it's any good with the brush stroke. I just want it kind of there because there's going to be so many layers on top of this, so many shapes on top of this, that these forms are going to kind of recede in the background here. So I'm not too worried with regard to that. Yep. Yeah. So these are the last three. of my 10 that I have for this iteration, and after this session is when I'm going to do I'm going to add my next layer of paint. I think it'll be like layer of 3. It'll be layer 3 actually. Yeah, wow. It'll be layer 3. 3 of 6. So these paintings have 6 layers of paint on top of them. They're going to be 6 layers, and then the next one's going to have 7 layers. Oh my goodness. I actually might run out of paint before that happens. And I might have to substitute a different color. You know? So that's what I have to do. Oh boy. Okie dokie. Yep. Man, I wish I had more to say. With this particular panel right here, what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do the same thing I did here. Is I'm going to continue the shape over here from this panel. So I'm making these like this triptych relationship panel, but like they're not going to connect to make one whole piece. They're just going to be all interdependent of each other, but there's still some visual connections here. So I think I'll do that to expedite the composition a little bit. The same right here. I think I'll do the same thing. Just continue that corner. And maybe right here I'll continue a shape that's like a weird angle. Maybe it just takes up this whole bottom here. And then I'll do it on this side. Maybe I'll do a little weird like foot shape coming off. Maybe this right here comes off this page and kind of comes off here and then makes this weird shape. I don't know. And then maybe on this side right here, I will drag this out and do another little footprint shape here. And then I'll kick it off the page. And that way I have this kind of cool little movement here. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna ignore this shape right here on this left side because I could have brought it over, but I didn't. And I'm just trying to fill up this area with paint. It's the slowest part of painting, is actually filling up areas with paint. You'd think it'd be fast, but no, because this paint is sticky. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. You know. So already within the third iteration of this painting, this abstracted shape thing is I've already kind of shifted where I want them to go, but still maintaining the essence. So I might continue on having those like octagonal shapes at the beginning of the exercise, but then make them a little bit more radical, a little bit more interesting later on, so that there's some point of interest there, you know. So there's that. Do. Just putting on paint here. Trying to do it as quickly as I can. I can't wait for the next layer to go on, which is going to be a light gray. And with the light gray is supposed to be significant enough that you can kind of see it on top of this gray, and it's going to be more pronounced when it's on top of the pink. So I think what I might do for the gray is do like I think I might do like simple kidney bean shapes to begin with, to see what happens, and then move on from there. I don't know why I think it should be kidney bean shapes. I think because my last paintings had the same type of form in there, and I kind of liked it, but I didn't know if I particularly liked it being on the last layer of the painting. So I thought maybe I should put it on a layer that's lower, that's less significant in the composition. So that's why I'm doing the kidney bean shape earlier on, or that's why I decided to do that. You know? Hey, how are you doing? Just filling out this area with high chroma pink, you know it. And for those that don't know, this is kind of like a modified triptych where they all connect, but they don't connect because they're going to be separated later on. So some lines between each panel connects, and I've been doing that. I just started doing that because it helps me go quicker in the painting process and the design process. So that's why I've been doing that. And I've been shifting around the shapes a little bit. They're more angular, more jarring. And I think I'm going to continue this little weird patchwork thing that I did on the first one. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I think it might be interesting. I can sense that probably in the later layers of this painting, that this patchwork design is going to be very problematic because it's going to be kind of hard to paint over, because my paintbrush is going to be kind of gliding over it, and it's going to cause like this inconsistent mark because it's going to create like a weird mound for me to kind of paint over. You know, it's hard to paint crisper lines when you have a surface that is very distorted and not flat. Who'd have thunk that, right? So I'm almost done with this one, and when I'm done with it, what I'm going to do is, just like before, I think I'm going to do another fabricated drip. I want to do a fabricated drip right here and right here. I think that's a good place to do that. Maybe on this area too, where it looks like the paint's just dripping off there. And what I'll do next is I'll probably I'll do the paintings. I'll twirl them around a little bit. I'll twirl them around. So maybe I might paint it on its side the next time, so I can look at the composition differently, and that way it'll lead me to a different visual conclusion. I think that might be something to consider later on, is to twirl the canvas or the wood panels so it's laying more horizontally as opposed to laying vertically at this moment. And that usually helps with the abstraction process. It makes the painting less precious. You know? I'm going to fabricate a little bit of drip there. A little drip there. And a drip right here. Boom. Now I'm just going to add my, I think maybe I'll try this. instead of patchworks, what if I just did like stripes that are done with the same tone? Right? That'd be kind of neat. And see what happens when I do that. So I'm always experimenting. Oh yeah, that's kind of interesting. That way, when I do start doing more paintings with stripes on them, I already kind of started the visual segue to that. So I think that might be what I should be doing, is start implementing ideas that might be used in future paintings. So I'm going to be doing stripes on this one. Okay, so I did vertical stripes here. What if I were to do like horizontal stripes on this one? And they don't got to be, you know, consistent. They just got to be there. So I'm using the prominence of the transparency of the paint. You know. I don't know if I like it, but we're going to do it again. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep dealing with this stripe thing and see what happens. And it's a little quicker to do than okay. Stripe here and then a stripe here. And let's do a stripe like this. And another stripe. Another stripe. Just doing same tone stripes here. You know. Always experimenting. Always changing up the formula. I can with these paintings specifically, I can definitely change up the formula, especially from painting to painting. So that's always good. To be able to change the formula, you know, not be beholden to the same type of method each time. It's like, okay, you want to paint realistically? Well, here's how you do it. Step 1, you start out with a good underpainting. Step 2, there's other things called, I don't know what they're called. I like validation. I don't remember. But there's a name for it. It's like a specialized form of underpainting. A grisaille is one of them. There we go. Okay. Now, before I start my last session, gosh, my shoe. Ugh. I just need to tie my shoe again and loosen it up. Okay, before I start my next painting, I just want to remind everyone that I am hosting, or I'm having an art giveaway where the winner will receive a 16 by 20 high gloss metal print of one of my paintings. And I think the painting is called IDK. So if you want to win that piece or win that high gloss metal print, all you got to do is in the text bubble or the box down here is you got to just click on that text box, and then you got to go sign up for to enter to win the show into the art giveaway. So before I start that, just Go there, sign up, and then boom, bada bing, bada boom, you're in. And then I'll draw a winner out next Wednesday. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to be doing this. It's the first time I've done it. I'd like to do more. Okay, now that I've kind of done this, I got to clean my brush, and I'm going to move this painting to the, what is it, right? Before it drips paint everywhere. And there you go. And move it to the right. Make sure I don't got paint on my hands. And I just got to do a little cleaning brush, do some brush cleaning here. I don't want to get too crazy with the brush cleaning. It just might be, I tend to go a little too excited with the brush cleaning and get like paint all over me. And so this is going to be the last painting for the day. And that will constitute that will basically put me on track to start my second layer on my next set of on the gosh, I don't even know what I'm gonna say. It's that'll put me on track to start my second layer of paint on these paintings, or on this set of paintings right now. So I'm going to continue this whole thing where I don't have to think about like what shapes I'm working with. I'm just going to continue the methodology that I kind of started, where I continue the same form off of the previous page. And this is going to be something new. Here we go. Whoa, I'm being a rebel. I'm being a rebel. Check this out. I'm going to make this bottom one connect, and it's going to be one shape. What? Right? One shape. You are mental. Now, I'm going to do the same thing right here. And we're going to do this. And I think that's going to be it for this panel. We have a nice little bitty U shape right here of negative space, a little flow action. If I were to draw an arrow, our eyes enter in from the bottom and then exit out the top, or they enter in from the top and then exit out at the bottom. That's a good little visual device. And so I'm just going to fill this area up. Yeah. Again, I'm doing a little bit different method each time, so I'm able to do 3, I think, rather quickly. I don't know, not as quick as I think I'm going, but I think each one of these panels relates to each other a little bit more than my previous iterations, and I've experimented with them a little bit more than the other ones. So I think that is a bonus, a plus on my behalf in that regard. I mean, so I'm excited about that. I'm happy that has been kind of going. I like that these paintings are evolving, and I think they're just going to get more and more technical as I get farther along, which I kind of like, but I also am kind of resistant to doing, because then it feels more like a chore as opposed to like actually having fun with the painting. And there is a level where it's just challenging enough, but it's challenging enough that it's fun, but it's not too challenging where you don't want to do it. So this is it's not necessarily challenging enough, but it's definitely, it changes enough that it keeps me entertained to keep doing more versions of these type of paintings. But it's not, I don't know, it's not incredibly difficult, which means I don't have to worry about having to challenge myself. I don't know. Maybe I need to challenge myself. I don't know. But I'm still, I guess I could say I'm improving just by just muscle memory and repeating the same things over and over again. So I'm able to do things a little bit quicker. I don't have to think as much with the process and let the painting kind of guide me. And so that's something. I a brief conversation with someone, a friend of mine, and he was talking about, he's a metalsmith, and he was talking about like, you know, this may sound really weird to you, but when I'm making a knife or molding metal, sometimes if I try to fight the material and not let it be what it wants to be, it doesn't work out. Like, I'll break it. And I completely agree with that type of phrase where when I'm doing paintings like this, I don't want to have this assumption of what it should look like, because I can see myself supplanting my ideas into the painting and thinking that it's going to make it better. And I'm just kind of letting it kind of flow. You know, I'm letting the paint the painting or paint surface, the brush, my arm movement, and how I'm moving the paint at the time kind of dictate the imagery that's happening in the painting. And I'm not going to lie, that can be problematic too, meaning that you might get in a position where the painting or the composition doesn't look that good, and you're going to be spending some time on the back end of the painting to correct the flaws visually. And you can't say like it's hard to tell you like what is a bad design for a painting or what makes a bad painting. But when you see a bad painting, especially a bad abstract painting, you just know it's bad. And the thing is, how do you correct that? Like, how do you correct a bad painting or a bad design? And that's challenging, because that takes practice, that takes some knowledge, that just takes a lot of work and reworking the painting or the design. It just takes a lot of just work and labor and thought and trial and error, right? It doesn't just occur. So that's good. But it was really interesting to hear what he had to say about that, and I thought that was really intriguing, you know, because I can see if you're working with metal or clay or something, I can see those materials having like an innate being, like they have, this is what it wants to be. It wants to be this shape. And if you're trying to fight it and try to mold it into, kind of impose your will on the material, sometimes the material will win and you'll lose the psychological, the metaphysical like realm that is that painting or that metal, whatever it is, right? So, and I think a lot of like you might get the same with like landscape painters or something, where you know, of course they want to capture the life, what it looks like in real life, but they also they got to let the brush strokes and the marks kind of take on a life of their own, you know. So they got to let that kind of occur. And if you're always trying to fight that type of fight it, you might end up losing. I don't know if it works for like photorealistic painters. I don't think they have that type of like ideology with painting. I think they more like, their ideology is like, I want to make this painting as real as possible, and the imagery that has the symbolism. So the imagery is the metaphor, the symbolism, and more painterly artists, with more brush strokes and more meat to the brush stroke, the more emotional the painting, like the paint strokes feel. I guess they're trying to let the paint kind of create the mood and not the actual imagery so much, you know. I guess it also it depends on the person, you know. Everyone has their own like view on how this is, and I'm not saying one's more right than the other, as far as painting. One is not necessarily a better way to look at art than the other. Maybe one might be done better or executed better to a more confident level or degree, but it may not mean that the other philosophy or idea is better, So when I do these paintings, I take some solace in knowing that I don't put them on a pedestal. I'm trying not to worry about whether they're good or whether they're bad. I'm just trying to just make them. And I'm just trying to hope that in the end that the visual outcome looks pleasing, and hope that it is successful, because some of the paintings I do visually have some they have some problems. The scale might be too large, or it's a little too much. There's too much activity going on, or whatever you want it to be, and that's okay too, because you learn from those processes. And that's why I don't mind making these mistakes or mind these paintings so much, because they're just giant studies. They're always giant studies. It's not like I'm striving for a masterpiece. I'm just striving to make something and hope that something comes of it, I guess. And maybe something doesn't come from it at all, So are some things I'm thinking about. That's like my as close to like the what's it called, philosophy of my art. I always kind of find it a little foofy when you have all this like sub meaning and all these metaphors. Like, it's cool, like it's cool that you do that, but like I find that sometimes it can just be just way too intellectual, and there's nothing wrong with being smart, but like sometimes you outcast yourself and you outcast other people by imposing this pseudo-intellectual ideology in your artwork, You can go up to them and say, like, what's this art about? Oh, it's about this blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, you lost the average Joe is not going to be like, oh, wow, I did not know that the apple represented the Garden of Eve and Garden of Eden or whatever. Is it Eden or Eve? Adam and Eve. And is it called the Garden of Eden? I'm not sure. And I can't believe that you chose the color scheme to be in this tone, because that represents strength and power, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people might be interested in that. They find some utility in it, but not everyone's going to be into that. Some people are like, oh, wow, this looks good. I want this in my house. I know where to put this. Above my fireplace. You're not going to sell the artist. You're not going to sell on a customer like, oh my gosh, I did not believe that had. I didn't know that this painting had so much meaning. Yeah, like, how am I going to put that on this? Like, oh, the pink represents bubble gum, and how I miss eating bubble gum when I was a kid. And the abstract shapes is basically a symbol or the metaphor or symbolic of the times when I take the bubble gum and stick it underneath the desk, and it reminds me of it's nostalgia to me, It's so nostalgic to have this pink bubble gum, and I'm chewing it, I don't know where I was going with that bubblegum like metaphor, but it really wasn't working. So I'm almost done. I'm just kind of I'm not being as gestural with this. I'm just basically putting on a more uniform brushstroke on these larger shapes here because I feel that that is the best response for this panel here, and that's why I'm doing it. Again, it's not clean, but that's it. So I'm gonna do it. I'm almost done. It's gonna do this large shape here, and then I'll call it a day. Actually, I'm not gonna call it a day. I'm gonna call it a day for painting. I'm probably gonna come back later and draw. I gotta do a little bit of drawing, and then I gotta do. I'm gonna try my best to do a live stream art tutorial on 1-point perspective. I really want to do that. I got to do it. It's going to be a very basic 1-point perspective, and then maybe the next one will be a little bit more. So I'm thinking about doing that, and that's my goal for the day. If I can get a 1-point perspective tutorial done and one skull drawn out, I'll be a happy camper. I'll be one happy camper. That's what I want to do. If I can get that done, I'll be happy, and I'll be a good day to have 3 paintings kind of started, 3 more paintings started, 1 skull drawing done, and 1 tutorial recorded. That would be amazing. I think that's a lot of work to do, don't you think? I think that's a lot of work. Almost done. Almost done. I'm probably taking too much time on this. I'm just talking. I don't know why I'm talking. I don't got much to say. I was on a good rant though. A good filibuster. A good filibuster. Yep. So I have a few more paintings, I think I have like 15 more panels. I don't know how many more panels I have before I finish this batch here, but we'll see. I hope that yeah, I'll do 1-point perspective. I'm gonna do a 1-point perspective drawing demo. Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll try to get 2-point perspective. The very basic ways of doing perspective, and then I'm gonna go elaborate. Advanced perspective points, talking about cone of vision, ground line. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the basic perspective points. Then I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to write this down. I'm just thinking out loud what I'm going to do as far as perspective. So I got a lot to kind of ponder before I begin, but I'm gonna go a different route than I normally go, mainly because of what's going on outside the world today, and I don't have time to do the technical perspective training that I want to teach my students. So I might have to do the basic perspective points before I start. Might have to do a recording of the basic perspective points before I start doing the really intense perspective drawing. And the intense perspective drawing talks about the cone of vision, and cube replication, all kinds of weird stuff. all kinds of stuff that I got to do. So I'm going to do a little fabrication of drip here. I like doing that, fabricating that drip. There we go. Fabricate that drip, fabricate the drip. And I think I am done for the day. So, thank you very much for stopping by and watching me live paint. Hopefully you got something from it. I don't know. Maybe. There's some, within like the context of all of it, there's like 5 good quotes. But before you leave, don't forget to go into the little box section that has the link to my art giveaway and submit for the art giveaway. As I said, I'm giving away a 16 by 20 inch art print, metal art print, high gloss. It's really nice, valued at over $200, and I will be drawing Wednesday. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.